have Duke the 1, Houston the 2. They're the two best defensive teams in the country. I want to see them play for the right to go to the Final Four because I think that would be a kick-ass game.
Duke is really great on both ends of the floor. They can score and they can defend, and that's why they win by big numbers all the time, because they're really good on both ends of the floor. I don't trust Houston's offense.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
I talked about AZ Fudd a lot, folks, and said when she got back from that knee injury, remember, it's the second ACL tear she's had in her career, that she was going to be a difference maker. UConn is plus 330. They're not going to get challenged again in the Big East until they come out of conference play in the conference tournament. I still like them at plus 330 to win a national championship.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
I feel when I look at this Arizona team, I don't take them serious as a national title threat because you're asking Caleb Love to bottle magic that I just don't even think exists.
4.4, 6.6, 7.4, 7.7, 7.8. This guy is literally he'll shoot you out of games, Kevin.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line, only on Sport.
And welcome in. It's in-game live game day here on a terrific Thursday. Scott Wetzel along with Dave Sharapan for the next 2 glorious hours until 10 p.m. Eastern time, watching betting on the world of sports. Yes, and while there is some NBA tonight, little college basketball as well, clearly hockey takes center stage, and we don't say that really too often. We really don't. Finals of the Four Nations tournament is tonight in Boston, yes. Dave. More than just a hockey game, right? You don't really have to be an NHL fan to be interested in this game. This has by far superseded what I thought this tournament would be. I mean, but with all the strife going on between USA and Canada, which is rare, right? We don't generally have that. And then you throw the Olympics not being around for the longest time for hockey players. And it's just been a great tournament so far, as few games as we have it. And we cap it off with the barn burner, USA and Canada, which I'm sure they thought and hoped would be the case when they designed this thing, who knows how long ago.
It worked out perfectly. It's brought the casual sports fan into the mix, which is all you could hope for if you're hockey, right? You don't have to even like the NHL. If you like the NHL, I think you love this. If you like sports, I think you'll really like this tonight. Side is dead even. You see that line? I mean, it's a pick 'em game. And the total has been hovering around 5.5. You've been all over it early in this Four Nations thing with the overs. Saturday night when they played, the first time up in Montreal, the game went under. We had a really well-played game. I think, again, tonight it's going to be under. But you're cooking up something. And we usually, have a couple segments in to get to it. But it's time, you got to tell the people before this puck drops what you got.
Yeah, and the puck doesn't drop for another 15 minutes or so, which is cool. They got it set around 8:20 or so, so you got plenty of time to get this in. But rather than put it off, let's get you ample opportunity to get this stuff in. So a little SGP same-game parlay time. All right, this is one of those rare opportunities where the odds that I put in came out to be higher than I really thought, much higher, to tell you the truth. So, but who's complaining, right? We're going to use USA versus Canada in Boston. Again, they dropped the first puck here in about 15 minutes or so plenty of time to get this in. Got to start with, you got to take USA, right? I mean, that's just a natural thing. You can't possibly, if you're an American, if you're a Canadian, you take Canada. If you're American, you take USA. I am going to flip sides on the over-under. You're right, Dave. We've been on the overs, 4-2 over. And one of the unders was the USA game against Sweden, which who knows if they really cared. So almost really you could say 4-1, but I am going to go under. I've heard so many players today say that they consider this like a game 7. Even I was watching the 4-Letter Network before we got on the air with the Kachuk brothers. They did a nice little feature on them. And he was saying, and he played in a game 7 last year. He said this game was even bigger than that, which is amazing. So if that's the case, then I'm flipping sides. I'm going under because most game 7s do go under. It's still 5.5, and I think that's a pretty good price. Then we're going to put 4 players in to get 2 shots on goal, not 3 or 4 like we do in a regular season game. You don't get that many shots on goal in these things, but we're going to use 2 Americans, 2 Canadians. Sidney Crosby to get 2. Brad Marchand, playing back in Boston, it's got to be a weird experience for him. I think they both get 2. You're getting pretty good odds on them. And then 2 Americans, Austin Matthews, who didn't play the last game. I think he gets 2 easily. And then Jack Eichel gets 2 as well. And then you add it all up, and it comes out to be somehow or another 16.5 to 1. I thought that was going to be about 8 to 1, to tell you the truth. You want to give me almost 17 to 1 on that FanDuel? Thank you very much. I'll take it, plus 1674. What do you think?
I can't believe you flipped on the total. You went with the over in this thing. So that one surprised me. Like I said, I like the under, but again, we've been opposite on different things. I mean, opposite picks. It makes perfect sense. If you guys are watching the show, tweet at us, tag SportsGrid, at opposite picks, at SportsBK and Sig. I'm curious. I have a poll up right now on mine, and it's almost split right down the middle. But I asked, what's the best bet if you got one bet? Side Canada, side USA, over 5.5 or under 5.5. And usually when I do those polls, the winner of the poll is the loser. So we're waiting to see. It's about another 30 minutes. So we'll see where we're at. Usually the one that gets the most votes.
So far?
Right. Well, I'll take a look here at the break. I want to stay focused on the show. The shots on goal prop are interesting. And I think you got the guys that are going to have the puck the most and get the puck to the net. Now, the McCarr thing is interesting because he didn't play in game 1, and his odds to get the shots are absurd, right? He's going to get shots on goal. Now, we have a bunch of guys listed. I think you got the right guys, all right? If there are power plays in this game, I think you're going to get those easily. So we'll see if it gets called because those guys all see time on the first line power play. Every guy you got, I think, except maybe one, but I think they're all actually going to be for each team first line power play. So you get power plays, Wetzel, we'll only be sweating the total. Well, we might be sweating the side. It's not an automatic that USA is going to win. Complete coin flip, in my opinion.
Yeah. I do like, my answer to that question would have been the under 5.5. I don't think this is going to be, unless you get 3 empty netters, or 2 empty netters, which is always possible, but that going in. But if the game is a standard game, 2-2, 3-2, 3-1, these game 7s, as we see all the time, they're so conservative. They're all afraid to make a mistake. They don't want to take any chances. I don't think we're going to get that many penalties because just like in a game 7, refs swallow the whistle. Now, if things get out of hand because of fighting and stuff, yes, but I don't think the officials, much like with a lot of Super Bowls, they don't go out of their way to call penalties. They really don't. So that's why I stayed away from some of the defensemen when it came to shots on goals. Shots on goal defensemen, yes, when you get a ton of power plays because they take the shot and the other guys get the rebound. But, I don't think you're going to get much more than maybe 2 apiece. I'd be surprised if it was more than 2, to tell you the truth, as far as penalties.
You're an official. You're a highly trained, referee. Put yourself in those skates tonight. You're usually on a court in the Hokas and everything. But I don't want to decide it. I want the players to decide it. And I think once everybody kind of sees that, there might be some crazy. I'm not saying the game's going to start with 3 fights. That was an incredible start Saturday night. I don't think that's going to be the case because then it wouldn't be a surprise and it would seem scripted and all that other crap.
Right.
But I think they're only going to call penalty tonight if it has to be called. somebody flips the puck over the glass and it doesn't touch anything, it's delay of game. If there's too many men on the ice and everybody sees it, you have to call it. Only other way is if you blatantly take away a scoring chance from somebody right in the middle of the ice, like you're in a slot, something like that. But all the post-whistle stuff, it's going to be a lot of talking, a lot of pushing, a lot of shoving, a lot of everything. I can't wait. I'm on the edge of my seat. It's going to be tough. We're going to do it and talk about the NBA and, college basketball has games. I hope you found something because, there's games tonight, like Southern Utah is playing Abilene Christian. And, I saw that game, and there's another game here. I thought maybe Wetzel will come up with something for Idaho and Northern Arizona. I don't know. So we'll be here for the next 2 hours on the edge of our seat. Vinny got the goal horn ready. Every time a goal is scored, obviously, we will be alerting you as well as us.
Yeah. The burning question that we'll get Dave's answer to. I think I know the answer to this. I'm not sure. But it's really for all NHL fans. USA wins tonight or your favorite NHL hockey team wins the Stanley Cup? We'll find out his answer from Tom Vecchio as well next. There we go.
So my team didn't win this weekend, but I still did with this app that's taking over the game. Sports Millions Pick'em lets you make quick and easy predictions. Pick your favorite players, go higher or lower, and you can still win big even if your team loses. Plus, the multiplier is insane. With just a few picks, you can win big money. So get on it. They've got a welcome bonus to help you start off your winning streak.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Dave, hour number one, getting set for the first puck to drop in about still 5-6 minutes or so. They're going through some of the pregame ceremonies. Am curious to see if, in fact, they end up booing the Canadian national anthem as the Canadians did for Team USA last week. So we'll keep an eye on that. Welcome our first guest of the evening. You see him, hear him all the time. SportsGrid Radio TV host, our good buddy Tom Vecchio, to the program. What's going on, Tom? I'll throw the question to you that I left with Sharapan, who's yet to answer. But your favorite National Hockey League team winning the Stanley Cup this year, or Team USA winning? You can't have both. It's just one or the other.
I mean, it's got to be the Rangers for me, right? And this goes back, obviously, decades at this point. I wanted to see Lundqvist win so badly. He didn't get it done. They haven't been able to get over the hump, in recent years, getting to the Eastern Conference Finals a couple times and not getting through. So it would be the Rangers, absolutely. And it would be Team USA winning the gold medal. Not necessarily this, but the gold medal next year.
Fair. That's a good answer. I got to experience multiple Penguin Stanley Cups, so I'm a little more recency bias. I'd love to see the USA win this, only to set up the Olympic thing for next year because USA, I mean, every time they play Canada except once, I think they've lost in these big situations. So I want to see the US win, Wetzel, because the Penguins are a long way from winning a Stanley Cup. I mean, my goodness, the dismantling is real. And my other team, my home of 21 years now, Las Vegas, has been in one Stanley Cup and won a Stanley Cup just, 2 years ago. I mean, we were at the victory parade. We went to a game. So I've had the ride. Go USA.
All right. Tom, what do you got for us tonight as far as some of the plays you want to put in before they drop the first puck?
Yeah, tonight's all about the under, and just what I was on Game Time Decisions with Kevin a little like an hour ago, and the verbiage that we're getting out of the players and the coaches, they are treating this like a Stanley Cup final, Game 7. What we heard from Jack Eichel, Vegas' own, who has played and won in the Stanley Cup, who also played in an NCAA championship. He is talking about this as being a very, very high intense game, and that's what we should be seeing. So I love the under 5.5. I also think we're going to be in a spot where a lot of the players are not going to be getting not just points or goals, but I'm talking about a clear lack of shots and shot attempts. I think we're going to see the first period end with both teams with fewer than 10 shots on goal apiece. We're going to see combined maybe 15 total. I think we're in for a truly defensive game. Outside of that, I do like Sidney Crosby for a point tonight. It was sitting at minus 128. I like the odds, most importantly. I like the role that he plays, obviously, on that line with Nathan McKinnon and Sam Reinhart, two proven goal scorers. So the odds for Crosby work. I don't want to be going all the way to McKinnon at minus 150 or McDavid at close to minus 200. I think Crosby's odds are good. Even though I obviously want to see Team USA win, I think we have to make a play on the number for this one.
I like it. Total-wise, I'm with you on the under. How does this game go over, Tom? I mean, the only way I see it going over is power plays and, multiple ones for each team, because I think the goalies have proven they're going to keep it low scoring. The only way I see it going over is 3 power plays for at least one of the teams, if not both. How about you?
The way this goes over is if Jordan Binnington reverts to his older self that we've seen over the past few seasons, which is being an exceedingly average goalie. And what Joe Madden said on Game Time Decisions when I was on with her and Kevin is that, listen, if they win, Binnington's going to get a lot of praise. And if they lose, he's going to be the scapegoat for why they lost, because it's not just him. Canadian, the team overall, they've had a lack of a clear number one goalie since Carey Price left. So what they have to figure out for next year, moving to the Olympics, is another thing. But the reason it would go over tonight is if we get multiple empty net goals, or we see Jordan Binnington give up 3, and we see them, this turn into a 4-3 or 4-2 victory for Team USA.
It's if you on paper outside of the goalie, right? It's like the better team, but the one team has the best pitcher. I mean, Canada guys, 19 Stanley Cup rings on their roster. USA only 3. Canada, you can make the argument, has maybe the 2 best players. Not only 1 but 2 with McDavid and Nathan McKinnon. But it's the goaltending, right? You said it, Tom. Is that what kind of are you leaning USA? You got the Sidney Crosby props. Are you saying Canada more so if you had to pick one, or USA?
Right. It's always Team USA. It always will be. It always will be for them coming with the victory. If you were to rank the players in this game, it would be McDavid, McKinnon, You can make the argument for Matthews or Jack Eichel, number 3, but, Cale Makar, and then it's Connor Hellebuyck, and I would take Matthew Tkachuk and maybe even Brady Tkachuk over some of those players. Crosby's great. Dave, he's great, but we have to rank him accordingly. And, Sam Reinhart's a great goal scorer, but he doesn't bring what Matthew Tkachuk brings. So I think we can be looking at like the clear top for Canada, and then there's a gap of U.S. players. And then there's some players at the bottom end for Canada. Seeing that they're going to be having Thomas Harley in and Drew Doughty, I'm not really too worried about that defensive pairing. I'm worried about the defensive pairing of Devon Taves and Cale Makar, who have amazing on-ice chemistry just because they play on the Avs together. But after that, I think the U.S. has a clear advantage on offense tonight. And we're not seeing Kyle Connor play. We have to make that note. We're seeing a little more physicality in lineup with Chris Kreider there.
Yeah. How do we, after this is all said and done, and let's hope as hockey guys and hockey girls and fans of the game, we get a really good game tonight. I can't wait. But how do we then shift to Saturday? There's a full slate on Saturday, Vecchio, with like Vancouver's at Vegas is the last game Saturday night. What the hell do we do after this? Because it's going to be hard to get excited and find bets on Saturday for NHL.
Players who were snubbed from the team, or the USA and Canada team that should have, Tage Thompson for a goal versus my Rangers on Saturday afternoon. Mark Scheifele for the Winnipeg Jets should have made the team. He should be there. Clayton Keller, Jason Robertson should have made Team USA. Tage Thompson will absolutely be on the Olympic team next year. And probably Jason Robinson as well. So players who were snubbed and should have been on teams, that's when we have a ton of interest in the first few games.
How about real quickly, Tom, we want to get this in because when we come back, the game will probably be started already. Goal first 10 minutes, yes or no, is pretty even, and then over-under first period goals 1.5.
No goal, under 1.5. We're going to see this game end 3-1, maybe with an empty netter.
All right, so we'll see. We'll drop the first puck. I kind of like that, too. I think this is going to be low-scoring, really low scoring. So, Tom Vecchio, we'll come back and drop the first puck and see who's on top. Maybe somebody.
I talked about AZ Fun a lot, folks, and said when she got back from that knee injury, remember, it's the second ACL tear she's had in her career, that she was going to be a difference maker. UConn is plus 330. They're not going to get challenged again in the Big East until they come out of conference play in a conference tournament. I still like them at plus 330 to win a national championship.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
You watch playoff games. The playoffs are all that matter, and the league's got an issue. They just don't want to admit it. They brag about how huge they are, how global they are, ratings are through the roof, profits are through the roof. I mean, between the NBA and NHL lying about their ratings and the money they make, I'm sick and tired of it.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
And welcome back. In-game live game day here on the grid. Scott and Dave, hour number one. Thanks to Tom Vecchia for joining us. See him here all the time right here on the grid. So my TV's a little behind, but they haven't dropped the first puck just yet. But no doubt they will in the next 15 to 20 seconds or so. Yeah, I think I flipped Dave. I like USA. I don't know if you can see on my shirt here, but it's I got a little USA American shirt that I usually break out for the 4th of July. I can't show
right.
it. But yeah, I'm rocking the the red, white, and blue. I see you are as well.
Yes,
this
sir.
would be
Got my
devastating if they lost. There you go. Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, the Olympic jacket. I got this a little while ago. I do that. Really don't break it out for 4th of July because in Vegas it's 118 degrees
That's true.
for 4th of July. Here, but we got the red, white, blue stuff. Listen, this is fun. This has been a couple days. We've been here all week on In-Game Live, and we've been mentioning this since Monday. We finally got to Thursday. There's a lot happening in the sports world. Some of it good, some of it bad, some of it, bigger, smaller, whatever. This is the focus of. I'm excited just for hockey to have the spotlight, And again, tomorrow, right. I don't know what the spotlight's going to be, and hopefully we're talking about a good game, not officials, not any bad incidents in the stands, anything like that. Just play hockey, enjoy it. I don't buy all the miracle stuff. The Herb Brooks speech is great, but this is not USA against the Soviets as huge dogs. This is the two premier teams in this tournament playing with all NHL stars and NHL big names, and they're going to play hockey. So, and if it goes under 5.5, that'll be really good.
Yeah, that's the mainy. No goal first 5 minutes, minus 340 on FanDuel. I don't think we're going to – are you expecting fights? I mean, again, they're going to drop – they just did 8 seconds in, so we're already 8 seconds past the point of fighting like we got with the last game. I'm not expecting any of that, are you?
No, absolutely not. I think it was a bit of a gamble when they did it, and the Kachuk brothers did it, and JT Miller finished it, but they put them in a power play situation right off the bat. The U.S. is not going to make that same mistake tonight. You're not going to give them, and they killed that penalty, and then it led to a little bit later McDavid getting the first goal. So no, they're not going to do that tonight. This is going to be played as straight up as could be. There's begin pushing and shoving after whistles, and setting the tone to gain space and let them know. But I don't think they're going to let them get away with what they got away with in game one.
Yeah. I'm going to throw a little flyer, a couple of darts. I'm going to go USA wins 3-1 at 19-1, and then USA wins 3-2 at 11-1. You could take the 3-2 to win in regulation at 22-1. But the last thing I want is to have them win 3-2 in overtime, and I not cash my ticket. So if I only get 11-1 in the cashes, the old saying, if you start your sentence with "I only won," then it's going to be a pretty good sentence. So I'll accept the 11-1.
That's a good way to start it. Yeah, I think it's fun to kind of look at that bet, and we do that on a regular basis. On different nights and different things. That bet is an option, especially in the playoffs. I can't wait. This is a preview for hockey intensity and betting options tonight because the level of the game is played at in the playoffs from April until June. It's like this every night. It's not like this in a regular season. You can eliminate a lot of the scores on that bet. Right. Would you eliminate a shutout? I don't think either team is going to shut out the other team. There's a bet available. I got it here on the Caesars app. You can bet the team to win and both teams to score, yes or no. And then you can bet a draw that there won't be it's a 60-minute bet. USA to win and both teams to score, yes, plus 160. Canada to win and both teams to score is plus 185. That's what it was before the game.
That's
so
pretty
it puts
good.
You on a plus, right? Yeah.
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 I mean, that's you're going from, basically pick a minus 110 to really solid positive money there. I thought maybe it would go up 20 points, 30 points, maybe 40, right? 150, but it's going even higher than that. Yeah, I mean, Canada only got one last game, but I'm expecting both to score. Yeah, I would do that. Definitely. Yeah. All right, in-game live, game day.
I talked about AZ Fun a lot, folks, and said when she got back from that knee injury, remember, it's the second ACL tear she's had in her career, that she was going to be a difference maker. UConn is plus 330. They're not going to get challenged again in the Big East until they come out of conference play in a conference tournament. I still like them at plus 330 to win a national championship.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
You watch playoff games. The playoffs are all that matter, and the league's got an issue. They just don't want to admit it. They brag about how huge they are, how global they are, ratings are through the roof, profits are through the roof. I mean, between the NBA and NHL lying about their ratings and the money they make, I'm sick and tired of it.
Pharrell, coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Oh, look at that. Wow, I've not seen it. Don't tell me. You can, since, you know what, don't blame me for the audience being late here. I got nothing. Don't tell me because I got no goal first 5 minutes, and I need 16 seconds. Don't tell me.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
They scored with 12 seconds left. Oh, in my first 5 minutes, disaster. And it was Canada.
And it was Canada, and it was Nathan McKinnon. Again, the guys, this is one of those situations where the stars are the stars, and you need somebody, one of them, both of them, McKinnon, McDavid, Crosby, one of them. I mean, it's a first goal of the game. So cash all those tickets, cash that goal in the first 5 minutes, cash the goal in the first 10 minutes. Hellebuck didn't see it, right? Skated across. Looked like Sega hockey. You remember Sega Genesis, NHL 94, where you cut right across the slot area and just shoot it, and it was usually right in. Over the shoulder, 1-0, and the U.S. was pouring it on in the first 4 minutes. Yeah. So that actually is going to slow the momentum. That's going to slow the crowd. We got a hockey game. I mean, Canada scored first on Saturday night around the same time. McDavid got the first goal. So
that's true.
We'll see how this goes. 4-3 shots on goal for Canada. Here we go. Let's go. Buckle up. We're going to be on a ride.
Minus 325 now. Canada is. They went from pick 'em
Wow.
to minus 325. Now, Monster Vig, naturally, it's 2025, right? If you think you're getting 300, all right, now it's down to minus 230. All right. So maybe they just put a little blip in there. But it was 325. It's 230, and then USA plus 176.
What is the
Five
total?
and a half is the total. Still 5.5, but the over is minus 146.
Oh, wow. Okay. Do you think do we get another goal this period?
Now, the over-under was 1.5. That's another one that's in jeopardy, right? Obviously, you mentioned it. First goal, 5 hits. First goal, 10 hits. In first period goals was 1.5, and it was dead even, minus 110 each way. So the way they're playing right now, I'll say yes. I mean, I was getting all set to come on and say, you know what, this is great hockey. We didn't have the fights, but boy, they're going up and down the ice. At that point, there were 5 shots on goal in about 4 minutes.
Yep.
That's more than what we had entire periods in some of these other games. And then we get the goal. So if this is going to be it, then it's going to be the wide open hockey. The only good news, as far as my SGP is concerned, Eichel has one of the shots on goal for Team USA. We need 2 out of him, but.
Okay.
I know I asked you this, Dave, the other day, and I know what you said is true, but it is just amazing. This guy's just inside the blue line, basically, about 10 feet below the blue line, but not near the net, right? He's got 4 guys in front of him, 4. And somehow or another, he gets it between the 4. It's like the magic bullet. When poor Kennedy. I mean, how in the heck did it get through 4 guys and go just perfectly over Hellebuck's shoulder? Is that luck? I mean, you said no. They're actually aiming for that. But I tell you what, if they are, and I don't doubt it, but man, that is just amazing how through all that traffic, he's able to get that puck on goal.
So think about it. There's 4 guys in between, but 2 are on his team. So
right,
it's
still a small body, though.
I understand, but you're shooting at targets all the time, and usually corners. When you're told to shoot high, you're shooting at the corners. Your guys on your team know that. So believe me, I had to spend a lot of time in front of a net, and I used to tease my brother because he would shoot it from the point, but it would hit me if I was standing in front of the net was the safest spot, because he could never hit the net. So when you know that a guy's going to hit the net, you can get out of the way. You set a screen. And like literally, it's almost like the movie The Matrix, where you got to move just at the right time. You're waiting to block the goalie's vision as long as you possibly can. So when you watch the slow motion replay, what high definition has done for hockey is unbelievable. You see how close it is. And like you said, how it gets through that traffic. I mean, it gives a new meaning to seeing eye single, to, like a baseball analogy, right? It gives a new meaning to it. When you see how this puck can go through legs, sticks, shoulders, bodies moving, it's amazing. And it makes you appreciate goaltenders even more. How do they stop half those shots?
I know. My daughter's a lacrosse player, and I told her that. I said, if you're going to shoot, where are you going to shoot? And she's like, well, whatever the open spot is. I'm like, no, think about it. What's the one spot, the vulnerable spot for a goaltender? It's his right shoulder, right? As long as he's right-handed, because he's got the glove in his left hand, so he could stop a puck that's to his bottom left. He could stop a puck that's to his top left, right? That's easy enough. He's got the stick, going the other way, so he could stop the puck, either side, whether it's low left or low right. The one spot that's open is the right shoulder. There's no glove, there's no stick, there's no anything. What do you do? Pop your right shoulder up there? So I always know that's where you aim when you're shooting, and that's where it was, for this goal. So
ideally, you're right. You gotta be quick with the shoulder and the block, or it's not easy.
Yeah. So.
Did you ever play goalie, like in the street hockey? Did you ever put the pads on? Did you ever do it?
Not with pads. We did play. I grew up in a lake community, so we had the lake, so we always play hockey. So I was too athletic. I was too much of a star player to be playing goal. So that was kind of me.
Of course you were. I should have known.
Yeah,
can't put Wetzel in the pads. There's no way.
Yeah, don't take me off the ice here. You might as well ask if it was official then. I mean, please.
Did you ever play catcher?
I don't know how these dudes do it.
Did you ever play catcher in baseball?
No, I don't know how those dudes do it. No, they asked me, right? So, no, you know, it's a funny, real funny story. So I was a pretty good baseball player, actually, right? So I went to Southern Illinois for college, and they were looking for walk-ons. Me and my buddy said, all right, let's try and walk on, right? So they asked, all right, anyone wants to walk on, you know, you're not going to play this. They gave us the riot act, right? But, you know, we could use you. And if anything else, you'll be a bullpen catcher for our, 25 starting pitchers. And my buddy did it. I'm like, screw that, Joe. I ain't doing that. You think I'm catching some 95-mile-an-hour fastball? What, are you kidding me? Not a chance. See you later. And I went right to the radio station. Eventually got to be sports director, and there was my stoppage of sports right there. That was you want to be a bullpen catcher or go work at the radio station? See you later, Salukis.
Yeah, you probably made the right decision. Simply based on, I mean, we've never met in person, but we've worked enough together. I know your eyesight was probably better back then, but I don't need you catching any fastballs, let alone any breaking balls. Could have been very bad. I mean, back in the day, the hair was working and, you were doing your thing. We couldn't have you all bruised up and all the pain. Being a catcher's hard, being a goalie's hard, wearing that equipment, having everybody throw at you and shoot pucks at you. I did it just to see what it was like, and I liked playing hockey. I liked playing like street hockey goalie with the pads on, and I really liked playing roller hockey goalie, but not on the ice. It was too hard. No way.
Yeah. I don't think people appreciate, like, I've been in enough locker rooms, that goalie equipment, it's huge. I mean, all equipment is big for these guys, not just a goalie, but a goalie especially. I mean, this stuff weighs like 50 pounds. And sometimes you forget they're on skates too, right? You really do, or at least I do. You forget sometimes. Like, they got to move back and forth. They're not like on sneakers. They're on skates. So, yeah.
It was way heavier back in the day. It's a lot lighter now. But anybody that's a parent of a goalie or played goalie understands exactly what you're saying. It's not easy.
Yeah. It's amazing. All right, so 9.5 minutes in, 1-0 Canada over USA. Minus 180. It's down to minus 180. Maybe USA's going on a power play. Over-under is still 5.5. So we're coming up in-game live, game day here on the grid.
I talked about AZ Fudd a lot, folks, and said when she got back from that knee injury, remember, it's the second ACL tear she's had in her career, that she was going to be a difference maker. UConn is plus 330. They're not going to get challenged again in the Big East until they come out of conference play in a conference tournament. I still like them at plus 330 to win a national championship.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
You watch playoff games. The playoffs are all that matter, and the league's got an issue. They just don't want to admit it. They brag about how huge they are, how global they are, ratings are through the roof, profits are through the roof. I mean, between the NBA and NHL lying about their ratings and the money they make, I'm sick and tired of it.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the Grid. Stoppage of play for the Four Nation Championship game. Canada leading 1-0, and I'll tell you what, it was darn close to 2-0. Connor Hellebuck made a great initial save, but he left it out, and he was looking towards his left. Puck kind of ricochets a little bit to the right, and there was Seth Jarvis, Carolina Hurricanes, if memory serves me right, and right there, had two whacks at it. I mean, and Hellebuck is stretched out like any gymnastic would be, and he couldn't get it past him. Man, that was Wetzel-like. So 1-0 still, 9.5 minutes left to go in the first period.
Wetzel-like. You couldn't do a split back in the day. There's no chance you're doing a split now. You wouldn't get up for days. We'd have to call somebody to come pick you up. Yeah, that was a big save. Listen, this thing's really, really tightening up. Well, they got to keep the puck on the boards on the outside. So Canada, I felt like was really, kind of carrying the play, since the goal. So right. 4 shots apiece right now. Maybe that was 5. I don't know. We'll check and see.
6.
Okay. So that counted as 2. All right. Yeah. I ran my poll. It just ended on my social, on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. You get 1 game, 1 play. What is the move? USA, 34% led everything. Canada second with 30%. And then under 5.5, 24%. Over 5.5 was only 12%. So side obviously more popular tonight than the total. We got D Weezy watching the show. He's a big fan of the show. He took under 5.5 plus 110, hoping that there's no more goals scored in the game because that thing closed pregame 5.5 was minus 125. So this in-game number is going to move. We'll watch it, as we get to the end of this first hour. We get closer to the end of the first period. Joe Madden's going to be joining us. We'll talk about what she's seen. I think you're going to have opportunity. If we get through this period 1-0, would you want to go over 4.5, Scott?
I like the style of play. It's a little more open. No penalties yet. Like I told you, I don't expect any power plays. Outside of maybe 1 or 2 for each team. No, I don't think so. Both goalies looking halfway decent. 4.5. If they gave me plus odds, I probably would. But I got the under 5.5. Would I hedge like 1 goal 3? 3-2 is the magic number, right? I mean that's in hockey that's obviously a strong possibility. So, but I don't know. I think this has got 3-1. 2-1 written all over it. I think things will slow down second half. Survive this first period. All the juices are flowing, the excitement, the build-up, right? If we can get out of here with just the 1 goal, and there's a long, 8+ minutes left here, but if you can get out of here with just the 1 goal, then I think things calm down a little bit. Then I think the checking picks up. The coaches read these guys the riot act. Canada's got, 11, 12 shots on goal, and the USA is going to end up with 10 or so, and then we'll go back to the 4 or 5 shots on goal. So now 3.5 would be my magic number because I could see 3-1 with the empty netter.
I got to ask you, because we're contractually obligated to talk about all the sports and stuff while they're on. So we're going to focus on the hockey, and we'll talk to Joe more about that. But tonight's NBA slate is there. It's back. There's games. I can tell you this, from the book's point of view, this was one of the best nights to be the book because you just put up the games. You have no idea where guys were, what they were doing. The guys that were at the All-Star weekend, you kind of get a feeling for what they were doing. They weren't doing much, at least on the court, but they still had to travel to San Francisco, and now they're back. So you look at the board today, and you think, what? Like Cleveland and Brooklyn. Do you do anything with that game? Chicago and New York. Do you do anything with that game? I don't know what you do with a game that's coming up here at the, at just after 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern. Charlotte and Denver. This is the biggest spread. This is 17. But Charlotte just won last night in a makeup game in LA. They go to Denver. Who in their right mind is putting a shekel on Charlotte tonight?
You know what? If I had to, I would. And it's up to 18 now on FanDuel, right? I mean, this is a classic opposite pick. It's just a classic. I mean, nobody is betting Charlotte, right? But listen, you don't know what you're going to get out of Denver, just like you don't know what you're going to get out of a lot of these other teams. At least Charlotte has played. Not only did they play, they actually won. How about that, by the way? I mean, our Laker over's in a heck of a lot of trouble already. One dopey loss. How do you lose to Charlotte?
Counting that as a win, maybe not a cover. We said it last night. They got to win the game. They don't win the game. Yeah. Now they're at Portland tonight. That's the last game on the card right after we get off the air. They're playing at Portland, and they're favored again on the road on the second game of a back-to-back, with a loss being in the first game.
You don't even know who's playing.
Nope.
Right? I mean, with LeBron, that is a clear stay-away game. I mean, if LeBron, who couldn't play in the All-Star game, is able to play in back-to-back games 2 days later, I would be shocked. Then you got the Luka injury. You know they're going to be extra careful with him. I mean, it's funny. When we first gave out the Laker over, or I gave it out, I'll take responsibility, right? They had 3 games, Dave. They had Utah, Charlotte, and Portland. And I remember specifically saying, all right, you need to go 18 and 13, I think it was. They said, but they're going to win those 3. And you really only need to go 15 and 13 because they're going to win those 3. They had a chance to go 0 and 3, let alone go 3. Horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Listen, plans go awry. We'll see what happens. We'll address it on the other side with the Wemby news. That was a big deal today. Unfortunate news. Wemby's going to miss the rest of the season. He's got something wrong with the shoulder. They're playing tonight at home against Phoenix, and we'll look at it. I don't know. Bad news for the Spurs.
Yeah. Black still 1-0. Black Cloud play coming up next.
I talked about AZ Fun a lot, folks, and said when she got back from that knee injury, remember, it's the second ACL tear she's had in her career, that she was going to be a difference maker. UConn is plus 330. They're not going to get challenged again in the Big East until they come out of conference play in the conference tournament. I still like them at plus 330 to win a national championship.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
You watch playoff games. The playoffs are all that matter. The league's got an issue. They just don't want to admit it. They brag about how huge they are, how global they are. Ratings are through the roof. Profits are through the roof. I mean, between the NBA and NHL lying about their ratings and the money they make, I'm sick and tired of it.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Our number one, final segment of our number one. You know what that means? Time for our Black Cloud Play of the Day. Yes. We don't go into stats prop players too often with our Black Cloud, but we will tonight. Dave mentioned it. Victor Wembanyama, if you didn't see, out for the rest of the season. He's got a blood clot. I had one of those. So he should be ready for next year. But for this season, he is done. So that's a guy who's 8 feet tall, no longer playing tonight. So we got to go to the Phoenix Suns, San Antonio Spurs game, right? Without the big guy in the middle, who by far leads San Antonio in rebounds, you got to believe that's going to open the door for Phoenix to get that many more rebounds, right? So let's go to Phoenix's leading rebounder, Nick Richards. He averages 8.5 rebounds a game. And they're giving you 8.5, which is kind of weird because I started this process thinking, all right, let's go to Phoenix, more points. But they bumped all the point totals up 1, 2, 3, or 4, knowing that Wembanyama's not going to be out there, stuff in the middle, and doing his gangly arms and everything else, even on the perimeter. So then I said, all right, let's outsmart them. Let's see if they bump the rebound totals up, and they didn't. Fell asleep at the wheel. All right. Most gamblers will just stop there. Not yours truly, Dave. We got to outthink them. All right. So let's go. Nick Richards over 8.5 rebounds. He's got to get 10, 11, 12 without Wembanyama on the court. He's bound to. So over 8.5 rebounds, double, triple your play. Instead of $1, make it $3. What do you think?
Okay. I put my listening glasses on for that one. You're outsmarting everybody going with the rebounds, huh? All right. I hope you're right. I don't know. I'll take your word for it. I don't feel strongly about it either way. That's a good play. Might be. The Black Cloud last night was good. It's been pretty good all week. Did that same game parlay hit yesterday? I can't remember. I think it was
we missed on 4, one right? Opie thing.
Again, 3 out of 4 pieces. You were all over it. Boise State won. That was no problem.
Right.
The game, I think, went over the total, I think, right? We had under. Was that what it was? I think it went over the total. Pretty sure.
I think that hit. What didn't hit? Let me go to the game. I think that the Boise total went over.
Something went over. It was supposed to be an under.
It was 1.
That's what it was, yeah. All right, well, the hockey game's still under 1-0, 5 minutes to go.
Boise had 86.
Right.
That went over.
Yeah.
And the game itself actually. Yeah, 86 to 78. So, but we all played Boise State. Hopefully we all cashed in on that ticket. So
the Wemby news does what for you? Because I saw that today and went,
real quick on the Rutgers.
This is bad. What?
Did you see the end of the Rutgers game?
I did not.
All right. So, what
happened?
Freaking Washington. Washington is up 1, 7 seconds, 8 seconds left with the ball, looking to inbound. Inbound the ball, you're going to get fouled. You hit a free throw or 2, you're up 2, 3, you win the game, you cover the spread, right?
Right.
They throw the ball away. They threw the freaking ball away.
Wow.
We put the wham, just like Texas A&M and Northern Iowa, and the one game we were talking about last night, same exact thing. Throws the ball to Rutgers. Rutgers hits 1 of 2. They foul the kid who stole the ball. They hit 1 of 2 free throws. The game goes to overtime, and Rutgers ends up winning in overtime, 89-85.
Wow!
Inbound the ball. Simple, a simple play that you teach in 3rd grade. Inbound the freaking basketball, coach. You lost the game because your team couldn't inbound the ball. Because you weren't smart enough to design a play that would get some guy open. These coaches wonder why they get fired.
You're still mad about that. You're still. I could tell. Just let it go. Let it go.
It's a Black Cloud. The Black Cloud play. Couldn't lose.
That was a Black Cloud. Okay, yeah. Well, it did. Happens.
So, yeah.
Would you rather lose it like that, or would you rather lose by 20?
Well, by 20. Yeah, I'd just rather be wrong with my bet. I was right with the bet. They should have won. They should have won and covered. Normal thing.
Yeah.
Or if the kid would have hit 2 free throws and then Rutgers maybe ties it, I could accept that. But to throw the ball away because you can't inbound the basketball, horrible. Yeah, Wembanyama and the Spurs done for the rest of the season. How about that?
I talked about AZ Fun a lot, folks, and said when she got back from that knee injury, remember, it's the second ACL tear she's had in her career, that she was going to be a difference maker. UConn is plus 330. They're not going to get challenged again in the Big East until they come out of conference play in the conference tournament. I still like them at plus 330 to win a national championship.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
You watch playoff games. The playoffs are all that matter, and the league's got an issue. They just don't want to admit it. They brag about how huge they are, how global they are, ratings are through the roof, profits are through the roof. I mean, between the NBA and NHL lying about their ratings and the money they make, I'm sick and tired of it.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
And welcome in. It's in-game live game day. Hour number 2 of our 2-hour extravaganza. Scott and David till 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Hockey. Oh, yes. It happens all the time whenever we go to break. Somebody scores, Dave. USA or Canada? You spill the news.
That was Brady Tkachuk on a wraparound. Austin Matthews got the puck behind the net. Threw it out front. It bounced off Bennington's pads or the defenseman's skate. And Brady Tkachuk, the guy who started the second fight on Saturday, boy, oh boy, I can't repeat what he said as he was going down the line, high-fiving all the teammates. But it was pretty exciting. And the building is abuzz now. It was before. But everybody's we got a tie game. And it's 1-1. What is the in-game number now? Hello. Have we gone to 6.5 yet, Scott? That's the question. Because
I doubt it.
Yes.
Let's see. Yes.
6.5.
Yeah, plus 20.
Yes.
6.5 plus
6.5.
112 on FanDuel.
Yeah, we're
back down
we're going under. Well, I just went to bet under 6.5, and it changed. It's back to 5.5 with the juice on the over. So I was looking to take advantage of that. I think still this game, so now will the highest scoring period be the first, the second, or the third? Because I thought before the game it would be the second. Now I'm not so sure.
Yeah. Do you lose if it's a tie?
Actually, there might be. No, I don't think. I think you get the money back. I have to check the market. Yeah, I think so.
I would. If
we got to
get
guess,
the money back, I would
we got to get our guesses. We got to get our guests.
Yep, I would take the first part with 2 goals. So anyway, Kachuk gets the goal, and then by the way, Austin Matthews the lone assist. So let us bring in my partner in crime on the weekends, who probably had a smile on her face before she logged in because she's up in Canada, Calgary. Joe Madden, what's going on, Joe? Sorry about that.
Okay, so not only did my heart hurt, but my wallet hurt because I had the under 1.5 in the first period, and Brady Tkachuk just ruined that with 3 minutes left on the clock. I can't believe Team USA was able to score. We needed that defense to really lock down in this first. It was the only under I played for the full game because I was afraid of overtime in this matchup. But yeah, that really stung. When Team Canada scored so early in this game, it gave me panic for that under 1.5. So I did reinvest here on Canada on the money line, on the puck line, half a goal. Hopefully 30 seconds left. They're not going to score though. There's not enough time.
Right. So you're watching a game. What's it been like for you just all week? Because we've been talking about this game all week. It's exciting. We're hockey people. I love the game. I'm excited. It's taken, center stage all week. What's it been like up there for you, Joe?
It's been absolutely thrilling up here. Everyone is so excited for this matchup. Excited to see our best of the best playing. But, there's a lot of people here in Calgary that go, if Team USA wins tonight, they are playing for Johnny Gaudreau. So half of our hearts are sitting there with Team USA because of that sentiment towards Johnny Gaudreau. We want Canada to win, but, at the end of the day, we're not going to be too disappointed if Team USA does walk away with the win. So it's a win-win for the Canadians up in Calgary.
All right. So obviously you're rooting for Canada, just like we're rooting for, the Americans. But going in, as far as take that out of it, did you think Canada was going to win? It's the same price now. So if you did it, it's no big deal for the bettors either way. But USA's minus 120 right now, FanDuel minus 106. So very, very similar numbers anyway.
Yeah, I did grab Canada at minus 110. Actually, I was looking at it before it hit that minus 110 mark. Canada at one point was a plus 104. Underdog, I tried to get in at that, but my book wouldn't let me. It just kept reverting to that minus 110 mark. So I got in at minus 110. I took the under 1.5 in the first period, and then I looked at these goalie props, and I looked at the goalie props hard, expecting both goalies to go over their save prop. Jordan Binnington, 25.5. I played around with it, ulting it up to 28.5, getting great plus money. And then Connor Hellebuck over 27.5 save shots, ulting him up to 30 plus save shots on goal. And then I looked at Sidney Crosby to get on the board, Connor McDavid to get on the board. And then the point for Nathan McKinnon, we know he opened the scoring there for Team Canada. And then for Team USA, Matthew Tkachuk. I needed Matthew Tkachuk, if anything, to get that goal, not Brady. So come on, Matthew, get in the freaking game now.
Oh, that's brutal. So 10 shots apiece for both teams, 13 hits for the U.S., 5 for Canada. So we're seeing a really well-played game. I thought it was really good hockey up and down. But now the total's back to 5.5. What stood out to you, at least in the first period? From what do you expect now from what you saw?
Yeah, we saw that complete speed out there on the ice. They were moving that puck up and down on both sides with such speed out there. Both of these teams had the ability to get that transition in the neutral zone and really run and gun at these goaltenders. I'm expecting the defense to really lock down. I still do think this has every possibility of going to overtime. That was another bet that I got in. And why I was really cautious on the under 5.5, because we go 2-2 to overtime. Perfect. That's exactly where we want to see to stay under 5.5. But if we're in that situation where we're seeing one of these teams 3-1, they're going to pull their goaltender. If they tie it up and then we go 3-3 to overtime, it blows over that total. So of 5.5. So I'm kind of nervous with this total. I do expect defenses to really show up. These teams are playing like it's game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals out there. And that's how they have to play. Now, Cale Makar being injected into this lineup, which he wasn't in on Saturday, really is the answer to that aggressive forecheck of Team USA out here. So we're seeing them. We're seeing, even though Team USA has so many more hits than Team Canada, they're not getting as many hits as they did in that first game. We're seeing Team Canada with that little bit open space with Kale McCarr out there on the ice. So great game so far, you guys. I'm excited for the next couple of periods.
All right. How important, Joe, we talked about it here in the States all week long. This is like life and death to a lot of people. How important is this to the Canadians that you've spoken to up there?
You know what? Everyone is just completely pumped for it. It really is the game that we've all been waiting for, watching these superstars play against each other. So everyone is pumped. Even like my daughter and all her friends are watching. Like you wouldn't catch her dead watching a game that's not actually at the rink, but they're all watching tonight. So you've got even like the small fan that loves to go to a game but doesn't watch it on TV watching this game tonight. It means the world. And she was even talking about, she wants to see Sidney Crosby get that goal tonight. So it's great to see.
It's fun. And when the kids get involved, like you said, when they normally don't, it's even better. But after this, we'll have tomorrow, no hockey. And then Saturday, we got a full slate. I asked Vecchio earlier, how do you handicap or even explain to someone, what are we going to look at on Saturday? And you only got a couple seconds left, but like Vancouver at Vegas Saturday night, you're going to be able to find bets on that stuff, Joe, or not?
Yeah, you absolutely are. It's the goaltenders that we're playing in all of these games that you have to worry about, like Binghamton and Connor Hellebuck. Don't worry about these players that will catch up at some point, but we're going to circle Ovi, and we're going to go hard on Ovechkin. Ovechkin's 16 goals away from tying Wayne Gretzky's record. He didn't play. He's Russian, so he was not part of the Four Nations. He's going to cash for us, you guys. Ovi to reach Wayne Gretzky, plus 190.
There you go. I like that. I would look for teams, we talked about this, that have a lot of Russians on it. I think they're going to be pumped up. Joe, great job as always. We'll talk again over the weekend.
Enjoy the game, Joe.
So my team didn't win this weekend, but I still did with this app that's taking over the game. Sports Millions Pick'em lets you make quick and easy predictions. Pick your favorite players, go higher or lower, and you can still win big even if your team loses. Plus, the multiplier is insane. With just a few picks, you can win big money. So get on it. They've got a welcome bonus to help you start off your winning streak.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Dave, hour number 2. Checking out the hockey. We're in between the first and second periods. We'll take a peek at the NBA and a little college basketball here in a second. But one quick note, I did just see someone on Twitter, Dave, sent out a retweet from DraftKings. Apparently, they're giving refunds to people that bet Victor Wembanyama Defensive Player of the Year. And then they kind of parlays that was in. They're giving all their money back. Listen, as a bettor, that's great, right? But I do. There is a part of me that just says, man, that's you guys are you new bettors are getting spoiled, man. Don't expect this stuff to happen. I mean, it's great DraftKings would do that, but I mean, guy getting injured this late in the season, hell, he could still almost win the award this late in the season. But how about that if that's true?
It's one of those things that, I've had a career in this for decades, and giving the money back because a guy got hurt. All right, that's great marketing. And maybe it's not that much money, and maybe there's not a lot of bets, and you want people to feel good about, being a customer, but it creates a slippery slope, because when do you not do it? If you do it with this, you do it with that, and you do it with that, and it becomes expected, then you're training the bettor that, well, if your guy gets hurt, you won't lose. Sometimes you need to learn how to lose. Sometimes you need, you make bets. There's people that bet that and bet the other guys, and hopefully, they got good odds, because he was going to win it. I mean, it was as much as minus, 2,000. I mean, you got to lay 20 to 1 to bet it recently. So the other guys were as high as 30 to 1, 35 to 1. Hopefully they honor those tickets if they win it. I don't know. I wouldn't do it if it was our book. I would argue that, listen, we're creating, like a lawyer would say, we're setting precedent. And the precedent you're setting is that, well, if your guy gets hurt, we'll give it back. And then as soon as you don't do it, if a guy gets hurt in a Monday night football game, and you don't give it back on Monday night, then they're all mad at you. They all, transfer their accounts and all this other stuff. So it's easy. If it's said before, if guy gets hurt, we will refund your money. That's different. If you just make up the rules as you go, I don't even know what you're doing.
Yeah. Not to mention, someone is going to win. And now whoever wins, whoever bet on them before, probably has monster odds on him, because Wembanyama was such a heavy favorite even before the season began, that, not only are you giving, that money back, but you're still paying the winner. So I guess, I don't know what kind of budget these places have, where they just say, all right, we're going to have to spend $2, $3, $4 million on bad bets that we're just going to have to write off and use it as a public relations positive. But all right, cool.
That's the way it works. I just want to make note real quick, too. I just saw it on the broadcast. The U.S. has not given up a goal in the tournament after the first period. Just a little something to keep in mind, as it's 1-1 after 1. They have not given up a goal in a second or third period of a game. Just saying. Not saying, just saying.
That's interesting. That's a little quirky, but Canada scored the first period, right? Finland, Sweden. That's kind of weird. How about this market has gone up, which it's all over the place here. So Connor Hellebuck total saves. I kind of think that we're going to get a little regression. We had 10 shots on goal from Canada first period and 9 USA or vice versa.
11-10
right?
finished.
So,
right,
11-10 it was? Okay.
Yep, that's what it finished.
So Hellebuck and Binnington both were 27.5 for the game as of like 5 minutes ago. They update these numbers, right? So Hellebuck then went to 27.5, heavily juiced to the under. Minus 140 it was. Now he's 28.5 under, minus 140. So, and then Binnington's down to 26.5, but he's at least minus 140. He was minus 110. I saw a story in a 4-letter network. They had asked guys from, ESPN, obviously, and DraftKings and FanDuel and all the books, and they were saying these games are getting between 5 and 10 times more bets than the average NHL game. So,
Oh, yeah.
are enough people betting on that to move that? I mean, that Hellebuck one is really, like I said, interesting. 27, then heavily juiced 27. Now it's up to 28 heavily juiced for the under.
So, I mean, I guess the thinking there is that, you have the number and they're almost dead even now, but maybe there is either somebody specific or hundreds of or thousands of bets being on the over because, I mean, for 3/4 of that period, Canada kind of carried the play. So maybe they think that Canada will be more aggressive in throwing the puck at the net and trying to get another goal. So somebody bet it over for a significant amount of money. I mean, again, I said this so many times, and I've told people this for years. The public doesn't move numbers. You can take thousands and thousands of bets for thousands and thousands of dollars. That's what you want to do. That's what a book does. You take bets, but you don't really move the number, especially in-game aggressively, from a lot of little bets. Usually it's one big bet or it's a multitude of bets all the same way, all at the same time. Well, they don't have to be limit plays, but they're higher limits. So I don't know. I think we'll see. Again, that was a big goal, right? At the end of that period, 3 minutes to go, whatever that was. Now it tightens everything up. I think it tightens everything up.
I think so too. I'm going to play the under 28.5. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do also. Listen, we can't stay on the sidelines with the Kachuk brothers doing what they're doing the whole game, the whole tournament. You can't do it. I'm playing both to score. I'm getting Matthew at plus 430, and I'm getting Brady to get his second goal at plus 460 on FanDuel.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't want to put the black cloud on them. I don't, but I can't have these guys scoring 5,000 goals and us saying, how come we didn't have them for a goal? So, do that, folks.
I talked about AZ Fun a lot, folks, and said when she got back from that knee injury, remember, it's the second ACL tear she's had in her career, that she was going to be a difference maker. UConn is plus 330. They're not going to get challenged again in the Big East until they come out of conference play in a conference tournament. I still like them at plus 330 to win a national championship.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
You watch playoff games. The playoffs are all that matter, and the league's got an issue. They just don't want to admit it. They brag about how huge they are, how global they are, ratings are through the roof, profits are through the roof. I mean, between the NBA and NHL lying about their ratings and the money they make, I'm sick and tired of it.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
And welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. What do we got? 24 past the hour number 2. So they just started a second period of USA and Canada. They are tied at 1. So before we go back to that, just take a quick little peek at the NBA. Promised the boys we would keep up on that. Pacers just beat Memphis 127-113. As crazy as this might sound, that game actually went under, Dave. That over-under was 249.5. I was all set to put the over it, and I was like, you know what, for you, 249.5. Not in game, but before the game started. So in the end, it actually did go under. Cleveland leads the Nets 78-71. What else is new there? Nobody cares about Hawks and Magic. Knicks in a little bit of a struggle with the Chicago Bulls. I'm a little surprised. Fourth quarter, 92-87. Over-under is 224 now. That was another monster number in the 240s. I was going to play over, but I just said, you know what? No, not going to do it. And then we got Phoenix and San Antonio starting here. Bucks by 2 over the Clippers. Not bad, 62-60. And then I'm telling you, I put in, you can still get them, 18.5 with the Charlotte Hornets, down only 4.5 minutes left to go, first period, 20-16. Yeah. I don't think they win. I'm not going to go that crazy, but I'm telling you, I got a feeling Charlotte covers the number.
14-6 ATS for Denver in the last 20 games. 1-11 straight up for Charlotte in their last 12 versus Denver. So they don't normally go there and win. They're not going there to win tonight. Good luck. Maybe they'll cover. We'll see. I can tell you this. You said it often. Sometimes in certain nights, like with the NBA, pre-break or post-break, or, we'll start to see it more as we get, closer to March. They're not playing defense. The numbers were juiced today. If you look, 250 for a closing number for a total, 240. Usually those numbers aren't that high. So I think the thinking, from odds makers I've done it. You make them a little higher after the break. You don't know what you're going to get. You probably don't get much defense. So Memphis not getting there, not totally surprising, but, the trends indicated that they would probably win. So the Pacers winning was a big surprise and probably saved some people some money. Phoenix and San Antonio coming up. We talked about the Wemby news. Who in the world is betting the Spurs tonight? Seriously. There's I can't. The Suns are favored, and I can't say that it's wrong, but I'd be okay sitting in the book and taking all the bets on the Suns. Why can't the Spurs win tonight? Because Wemby's not playing, they can't win?
Basically, Spurs all-time record. How does this make any sense? This season, the Spurs record about Victor Wembanyama is 21-25. No, that can't be. He hasn't missed that many games.
That's the record right now, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So San Antonio's all-time record without Wembanyama, 5-12. That makes a little more sense.
Okay.
Let me go to stat use. 5-12. Okay. They're a pretty good site. I like those.
Okay.
Good job, boys. 5-12. Yeah. Could they win? They are at home. They have the Aaron Fox. That was the one I looked at when I flipped over to Phoenix with the rebounds for our Black Cloud. I said, let me go to San Antonio. Let me do the Aaron Fox. He's there. A couple of games in, he's going to pick up the slack. And they bumped his numbers way up. The dude averages 22, and they were making him like 25.5. And chances are he might get it, but I wasn't comfortable. Then I found the Nick Richards play. But
that's
5-12,
the move.
Yeah.
In the book, when the star player doesn't play, the next guy, you get an extra tax on it, whether it's points, rebounds, assists, all of them. For the guard, the assist number goes down because he's going to score more, but points and rebounds goes up. So little behind the scenes stuff there. That's good. The hockey game's still 1-1. Almost 4 minutes gone here in the second period. 13 shots for Canada, 10 for the U.S. They still don't have a shot on goal. It's happening. The tightening up of space is really a thing. By getting that goal, the ice shrinks.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you get the 1, you might get more. That tends to open things up. But with the tie game, they can be as conservative as can be, especially this early. So, by the way, Celtics won by 20, kicked the Philadelphia's butt. I don't think the 76ers are winning the rest of this game. Yeah. All right, more coming up in Game Live. Game Day.
I talked about AZ Fun a lot, folks, and said when she got back from that knee injury, remember, it's the second ACL tear she's had in her career, that she was going to be a difference maker. UConn is plus 330. They're not going to get challenged again in the Big East until they come out of conference play in a conference tournament. I still like them at plus 330 to win a national championship.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
You watch playoff games. The playoffs are all that matter, and the league's got an issue. They just don't want to admit it. They brag about how huge they are, how global they are, ratings are through the roof, profits are through the roof. I mean, between the NBA and NHL lying about their ratings and the money they make, I'm sick and tired of it.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Almost halfway through, 6.5 minutes into the second period. 1-1 still, over-under still, but I don't want to get off that 5.5. It's heavily juiced to the under, minus 178, but it is still 5.5 if you want to go there. And USA, which I think went off as a slight underdog, is actually now a slight favorite, minus 120 versus minus 106 with Canada, with the game tied at 1, which is interesting. So I guess they need more Canadian money, at least here in the States. So, Dave, we talked about this. It is kind of weird, right? I mean, and you mentioned it a couple times here with our guests, and it's true. These guys got to, they're going to play tonight. By the time this game gets over, right, and God forbid it should go to overtime, and then they got to talk to the media, and they got to celebrate whoever wins, and then, be Debbie Downer whoever loses. So they're not getting out of this arena until, 1 o'clock in the morning, 12:30, 1 o'clock in that area, right? These guys got to play Saturday, and some of these dudes got to play Saturday afternoon. There's
Correct.
4 afternoon games. This is Thursday, folks. So they got to fly from Boston to, do they go home? Do they go to, if you're playing a road team, if you are on a road, you are a road team, do you fly, I assume, right to the next city and expect to lace it up and start all over again? And what's interesting is just the conflict of interest. Here are some of them that I looked up and pointed out. USA versus Canada versus the NHL, right? USA's head coach, Mike Sullivan, right? Who does he coach? Your beloved Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yes,
Who's
sir.
on Canada? Sidney Crosby. One of the biggest faces, obviously, of the NHL. So he's going up against his best player 2 days from now.
This guy. Yeah.
I mean, Jack Eichel, you're in Vegas, right? Team USA. Who's he playing? Mark Stone. Team Canada. They're both on Vegas.
And not to mention, Bruce Cassidy is the assistant coach for Canada, and he's got Stone, and he's looking at Eichel doing what he's doing, going, all right, boys, enjoy yourselves with this. We'll see you Saturday. We got a big game against Vancouver. Yeah, I don't know. If we got that graphic, pull it up, because there's an interesting conflict. You're right. There's different things that are involved in this that run deeper than just this game. So I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it. I mean, look at that. Marchand and Charlie McAvoy. Oh, boy.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Marchand and McAvoy. You got Kachuk, who plays for Team USA Florida, and he's going up against Reinhart and Bennett for Canada, his teammates. I mean, that's a big one. Kachuk is one of the main figures here, fighting and everything else. Then you got Hellebuck and Kyle Connor for Team USA, up against Josh Morrissey, who's their teammate with the Winnipeg Jets. I mean, it's got to be weird. The first game or two. I would think it would have to be. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but it seems weird.
Well, it would be bragging rights, right? Like, because if I was on Team Canada and you were on Team USA, and then we had to go and play Saturday, and we got Vinny in the locker room with us, and he goes, whoever wins, he'll start, he'll go, hey, how'd the tournament go, boys? And get you going. So I'd be like, yeah, right, we won. Or, I'd be like, yeah, you got me, this, that, whatever. So it's going to be one of those like bragging right things, at least initially. But especially the teammates have been teammates for a long time. I mean, Sullivan has been Crosby's coach for at least a decade, I think, right? Yeah. So they have a relationship. That'll be one that they'll probably I don't want to say I mean, it might be touchy. What if this thing goes all the way to the end? I mean, the in-game number right now, you could bet it 1-1. The 60-minute result 1-1 right now is 15-1. I don't think it's going to finish 1-1. Yeah, but it's 15-1. They're doing this live in-game number, for the score.
Where do you see that?
Like,
I like 15-1. Where do you see that one? On FanDuel?
Hold on. No, Caesars. I got the Caesars app open here, so let me see. 1-1 right now. It's down to 12-1. So they just locked everything again. Everything just got locked. So something happened. Either something happening or somebody got a penalty. I don't know what, but everything's locked.
They know my 50-cent bet is going to make them go belly up, so they took it down.
No. All right. We'll see.
Yeah, they locked everything. FanDuel too.
Everything's locked.
Canada has the puck right now on my TV set. I don't think that's good. Oh, USA's got the puck. Oh, maybe. Kachuk in the corner. Come on, boys. Let's go. Hold on.
Was that your guy? Was that your guy?
Is that Brady? Oh, USA scores. Who was it? There's too many, skis and chucks on the puck.
I know. I don't know who gets – we'll see who gets credit for the goal. Brady's in front. The puck bounced down, and oh, my goodness. Can both Kachucks be on the ice, and neither one got credit for the goal? Did you have both Kachucks in game?
Oh, my goodness.
It wasn't him. It wasn't either.
It wasn't him. And he's standing right freaking in front, too. Hit the puck, man. What are you doing, brother?
Oh, man.
Oh,
Sanderson gets the goal. USA leads 2-1. That is a huge goal. 12 minutes to go. Yeah.
Sanderson.
Wow.
Who's Sanderson? Who's he?
Sanderson, a defenseman. And it's his first goal of the tournament. You had
Jake
both your
Sanders.
guys on the ice. Yeah, Jake
Right
Sanderson.
in front.
Man,
Right
oh man.
in front of the crease. They're all scrambling around.
Wow.
Jake Sanderson.
That was a big goal. That was a
Oh my!
huge goal.
I'll give
All
you
right,
one.
so now we got 2-1.
Hey Vinny, I'll give you one. No, this can't be right. Could this be? He's from the first of all. He's from the Ottawa Stinking Senators. Yeah, I'll give Vinny one guess what state he's from. Our producer.
Oh boy!
All right, take a guess.
He's from
Now think.
Minnesota.
Think. Let's see if you.
Minnesota.
No, there's got to be a reason I'm asking Vinny, right? So where's he from?
New Jersey.
Vinny, our producer. Bingo! Whitefish, Montana.
Look at that.
Who the hell
Whitefish,
plays
Montana.
hockey in Montana? Is that a big hockey state?
Talking
Does
about
it?
Yeah.
Montana?
Absolutely. It's freezing.
Yeah, all right.
Oh,
All right, I guess so. I'm thinking
Penalty.
well, that's true. Elk hunting and all that other stuff. Ooh, we got a penalty too.
Penalty on the
wheels are
US.
falling up. Oh,
penalty on
naturally.
the U.S.
Thank you, Paul.
Here we go. Yep. Well,
What was this?
we're under 6.5. I don't know if that's going to be
All right.
good, but it was a clear trip. You had to call that. Guy with the puck.
Yeah, I didn't see
was
it.
a bad, put his stick right under his skate. Can't even say he was diving. Bennett went down. That was a bad play. So
Stupid
here we
play.
go. Now Canada plus
Why is he
240.
doing that? He's in his own
It's
end.
Canada's
It's not like
force.
he's in the offensive zone.
Yeah, that was a bad play. That was just a bad play. Canada power play plus 240 right now on the money line. Total 6.5. Plus 120 to the over.
Ooh.
Think they score?
Plus 240
Think
they're
they
giving
score?
you?
Plus 240 on Canada right now. Yeah.
It's up to 6.5. Yeah, you're right. FanDuel's got it
Boy,
plus
Cam,
190.
Cam's going to come in hot right now. Cam is going to be fired up. Cam Stewart's coming up next. Canada down 2-1. Oh, boy. Oh, here we go.
Yeah. All right, Cam Stewart coming up next.
I talked about AZ Fun a lot, folks, and said when she got back from that knee injury, remember, it's the second ACL tear she's had in her career, that she was going to be a difference maker. UConn is plus 330. They're not going to get challenged again in the Big East until they come out of conference play in a conference tournament. I still like them at plus 330 to win a national championship.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
You watch playoff games. The playoffs are all that matter, and the league's got an issue. They just don't want to admit it. They brag about how huge they are, how global they are, ratings are through the roof, profits are through the roof. I mean, between the NBA and NHL lying about their ratings and the money they make, I'm sick and tired of it.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Power play is over. I should have known it was a stinking Ranger, Vincent Trocheck. That how do we allow a Ranger on this this USA team? For goodness' sake, in his own end, 90 feet away from the net, he's going to trip a guy. What a dope! If he sees any more ice time, anyway. 2-1 USA.
What are you gonna do?
Canada.
Settle down, Wetzel. You're winning the game. Just relax.
I'm going to talk to the wife.
Relax.
I'm going to talk to the wife. That's what I'll do. Cam Stewart joins us. What's going on, Cam? How are
I feel like it's me, Joe Madden, and Gabe versus the world right now. I feel like, but
man, oh
man. We're all friends here. Once hockey ends, we'll be back to being a loving family, but it feels like Festivus right now. Yeah, what an interesting start. Canada gets that first goal, but got to give it to the Americans, man. Like these guys come back, bang, bang, getting pressure. And what I like about America, you guys just shoot the puck at the net. Nothing's fancy. And that's the way when I play hockey, it's just the old Tim Kerr. Just stay in front of the net, get a screen on the goalie, shoot. That's what I like about like certain guys on that team. Like Jake Gensel's a perfect example. That guy will shoot from anywhere. I love that stuff. Just doesn't need to be perfect. Like me and Gabe talked about, like sustained pressure. Canada has plays and stuff, but I just like sometimes when you're in games like this, you get traffic in front and you fire it, and actually the dirtier shot, the better. Like you don't even want that disc to be clean. Like you want a knuckleball, something stupid, flick shot. Like you know what I mean? Just something that is like a changeup in baseball. So the goalie gets a little bit rattled by it. But guys, too good of a price right now. You know where I'm all in this game, and great start to the golf tournament, but I rolled some of it back into the hockey game. We had 2 first-round leaders, Scott. I was hoping you follow me. I get hot, and then I get real cold. I'm like a fire, then I'm a deep freezer. So we hit Harry Hall, the Brit who went to UNLV, Dave. He's one of these underrated players at 40-1 for first-round leader that we gave out last night. And Chris Ventura, golf detective. Watch out for this guy. At Oklahoma State product that went to school with Victor Hovland. He's supposed to be a phenom and just kind of getting his feet wet. But that's the beautiful thing about these D-grade tournaments. It's kind of like the G League in basketball we talk about on our show. You know, you're going to find a future star, and Chris Ventura might be one. Start of the tournament, 90, first-round leader, 85. So we cut a piece of that and rolled it in. Canada right now, you know, what are we getting? Plus 210 on my FanDuel account. I'm in. I don't like the plus 1.5 because I'm not laying 82 cents. So I'm just going to have to go in. Total 5.5. I'm already on the over. I had a 4-2 Canada final, so that doesn't. What did Pharrell say? He had 4-3 for somebody today when we did. I was on Coast to Coast today, so 5.5 right now is 30 cents to the over. I lean that way. I think. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Do you think it's going to slow down or more goals?
Give you a perspective. Right now, Canada here is plus 290 at the book I'm looking at. So you got a little bit of a slight hometown favorite thing, which is fine. I don't know.
Wow, it is. No, Gabe. No, Dave, you're right. I just went because I'm on FanDuel because they usually have better odds for dogs. It's amazing.
Right.
Canada's plus 210 on my Bet365 account, and they're plus. Okay, now it flipped. Now it's plus 190. Okay, so you're getting 20 better cents. But I was just looking at it going, what are these guys doing? I guess the computer was a little bit slow to refresh. But over 5.5, and I'll take a shot with Canada. What am I getting? Plus 210. I'm in.
So, Cam, did you look? Because, you know, we look at everything, and I know you look at everything. You get involved in a lot of things. Betting the NBA tonight, kind of treacherous for people. I told Scott earlier that this was one of the easiest nights to book because you just put up the numbers and let people bet because it's all over the place. Did you have any action on any NBA today? And then there's one game left, Lakers at Portland. Lakers lose last night as gigantic favorites to Charlotte. Now tonight they're short favorites, Portland. What do you anything tonight?
I can't lie,
NBA?
Dave. I usually Bovey's my guy, and like you know what I mean. But that's the danger of going in. I had Memphis tonight against Indiana. Pharrell tried to talk me out of it. He liked the Pacers as a home pooch, and I lost in that game. So yeah, it wasn't like a really great start to the NBA. And then I tried to clip Philly live and ended up losing that game by a hook live. It was like 19.5, and I think they lost by 20. So it hasn't been a great start in the NBA. Golf has been fantastic, guys. But so far I'm 1-2 in the NBA tonight. We're transparent here on the network. Hit a total, lost both sides with Philadelphia and Memphis. But I am going to do this one thing. I'm on Charlotte on the back-to-back. I don't care. I like what they did against the Lakers last night. I'm not afraid to take them again. They're in a good spot against Denver. And I will say this, guys. This might be contrarian. I don't know. I'm taking Portland. I took them at the start of the year before the All-Star break, and I'm going to come back with that team. Hopefully, they're still in sync. I know people think it's going to be a Lakers rebound. I think that line smells fishy. And Scott, my opposite pick of the night. Tonight, I like to do, where we take things that nobody wants to take, like teams like Pacific and stuff. I got one for you. The Cal State Northridge Matadors.
Wow.
Give me plus 6.5, 7 with the Matadors against the Anteaters they're playing UC Irvine, correct? I love the Big West. Yep. That's my play. I think that line is a little bit fishy, and I don't want to get hooked, Dave. I'm going with the team that's probably not going to be played as much. Like Wetzel, opposite picks. Give me the Matadors on the road, getting 6.5, 7. I'll get one book has 7, one book has 6.5 for me.
All right. Any action on it? You're right. I don't think anyone's playing that team or the home team, either one on that game. Any thoughts on Maryland up 16 against USC? By the way, I love Charlotte too. I love Charlotte with that game. But yeah, Maryland up 16, laying 19.5 now.
Yeah, Pharrell and I actually, you know what? The crazy thing was, if I didn't bet the NBA and just listen to our college picks today, we couldn't believe the line with Northwestern and Ohio State.
Yep.
And I'm like, I took the points. I didn't even think about the money line. They didn't just, that was an absolute drubbing. Like that was a weird game. Don't you guys think? Like, yeah. I'm like looking at Northwestern, they're up like 24 points. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? They're 10.5 point dogs on the road. But hey, it's college basketball. Weird things can happen. But yeah, I just think USC is going through bad times right now. Maryland's at home, kind of a statement game. West to East travel for the Trojans. I think Maryland runs them out of the gym. The Fighting Turtles.
You got the late shift here. You and Gabe for this third period.
We've been on the air for so many Bills games and depression. I can't take it anymore. Thank God golf went well. If I would have lost like golf and funny thing is, Dave, I would have won it all. Ventura, this guy that I got missed in like a 9-foot putt to be the outright leader. I had to saw off my co-leader with 2 guys. It would have been an extra $700. So I'm like, hey, that's life. But anyway, things better change or me and Gabe are going to get angry. Lots of rage at 10 with Morenzi. Rage, high blood pressure, and anger.
Duke the 1, Houston the 2. They're the 2 best defensive teams in the country. I want to see them play for the right to go to the Final Four because I think that would be a kick-ass game.
Duke is really great on both ends of the floor. They can score and they can defend, and that's why they win by big numbers all the time because they're really good on both ends of the floor. I don't trust Houston's offense.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
I talked about AZ Fudd a lot, folks, and said when she got back from that knee injury, remember, it's the second ACL tear she's had in her career, that she was going to be a difference maker. UConn is plus 330. They're not going to get challenged again in the Big East until they come out of conference play in a conference tournament. I still like them at plus 330 to win a national championship.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
I feel when I look at this Arizona team, I don't take them serious as a national title threat because you're asking Caleb Love to bottle magic that I just don't even think exists.
4.4, 6.6, 7.4, 7.7, 7.8. This guy is literally he'll shoot you out of games, Kevin.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
2 guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Scott Jay's final statement. And, like we've seen a couple of times already tonight, and we go to break and we come back and there's a goal scored. It's amazing. And unfortunately, this time it was Canada, Dave. 2-2. Sam Bennett, the Florida Panther, one of them that we talked about, the quirkiness with Matthew Tkachuk, right? So Bennett, little flip shot that beat Hellebuck, and there you go, 2-2. Over-under, back up to 6.5, and game basically back to pick 'em. Nice little, hat there. I like that. Definitely like that.
I had to break it out. We're going to have that's a BVB hat for Bostonian versus the book, which will be on after Gabe and Cam. Tonight, you've been on it. Peralt and I do it. We didn't have any guests today, but I had to put this one on, especially made USA hat. Let's try to get this one home. Listen, this game has been everything we could have asked for. This has been a really, really well-played hockey game, back and forth. Cam was getting worried about being, depressed. Now him and Gabe got to do the show as Canadian guys, as former hockey players back in the day. Good luck. Watch the show if you're on SportsGrid because it's going to be entertaining because this has been really hard to focus. The boys did a great job. Matt D, Vinny, this has been good. I am going to – what's on the menu? Because you in this Four Nations, every time you go to the kitchen, something happens. I know. So get it all done during the break between the second and third period so you don't miss nothing. I don't want to do the show with you tomorrow or get a text later tonight and go, what the fudge did I miss? Because you'll probably miss something if you're getting food. I don't want that to happen.
I should have enough time. We got 6 minutes left of the second period, which is probably maybe 10 minutes, right? So we got, 4.5 minutes, 3.5 minutes left of the show. So I should have enough cushion between the remaining of the second period and the in-between second and third periods to come back and make my dinner and sit down and watch the entire third period. Now, the question is, do I risk and watch the end of the second and then go make my dinner and then come back and maybe miss the first minute or two?
100%. You watch the rest of this period. I'm going to ask you this question. I already have my answer. Does this period end 2-2, yes or no?
Well, odds are going to say yes, right? But I do like, when you get a goal, boy, it just does open things up a little bit. It just gets the blood pumping on both teams' side. So since I got under 5.5, I hope so. But it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't, So
I'll say yes.
I will say. I'll say. You know why I'll say yes? Because they're giving you 6.5 minus 172. I would think it would be 6.5 under minus 172, but they're kind of counting.
No. You can't. Because if both teams score in the third, it's 3-3 and it goes over. So the juice has to be on the over, but the bet can be on the under at plus 110, which it is right here for me now. I already took under 6.5 plus 120. So 4-2 works, 3-2 works, but I think 2-2 has to happen. 5 minutes to go in the second period. No more goals would be good. I'll go on record right here saying no more goals. What are we talking about tomorrow when we talk about this game, when we summarize it? Right now, what's the headline?
I'll continue to say USA wins 3-2 in overtime. I'll stick to my guns. How perfect would that be?
Overtime?
Game would go under. USA would win. I'd cash an overtime ticket, and I would cash a USA win 3-2, 11-1 ticket. That's not happening. I'm telling you, right? There is no chance of that happening. So just scratch that one right off the board. Never. That's not happening. So
we're going to get a nice fancy board. We're going to get a nice fancy graphic for that with a lot of green check marks if that happens, without a doubt. I don't think it's going to happen, though. I don't.
I think go to overtime. I put that in before the game, plus 330 on FanDuel. 2-2 now. They're probably not offering you very much right now.
I'm glad I returned my heart monitor. I had to wear a heart monitor all week for the heart doctor. I returned it this morning. I said, Doc, take it. I got the hockey game tonight, and I'm going to be with Wetzel and the boys. Have fun. Enjoy the game.
Have fun. We'll do it tomorrow. David Cam coming up next. Go USA.
Woo!